Hey, I am Mandy. I'm a certified health and wellness coach, and I'm here to give you a little bit of information on essential amino acids. But first, let's kind of talk about muscle. Um, Here's some stats for you. Did you know that changes in muscle mass and strength can start as early as 30 years old? And you are losing approximately 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade after the age of 30. And from the age of 40 to 80 years old, your muscle mass declines 30 to 50%. I'm in that category, you guys. So, why should we care and what can we do about it, right? So a lot of us think as we get older, oh, my metabolism is slowing out down. And it's kind of inevitable that, that's going to happen and we're going to gain weight. And oh, that's just how it is. And we're not wrong, but this is what's really happening. Your base metabolic rate, which is the amount of calories that your body naturally burns just being alive at rest, is affected by your lean muscle mass. So the higher your muscle mass is, the more calories you will burn, and the more calories you eat, the more calories you can eat without it affecting your weight. Okay. So building muscle strength is kind of you taking charge of that aging process and your metabolism. Building muscle is also going to protect you as you age from the risk of injury and falls. Plus, you're going to have a little more fun and be a lot more active, right? And I don't know about you, I want to be that active grandma that's out there having fun with my grandkids. So, how much protein does a person need? So let's kind of look at this. So this is an approximate formula, but it's about 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. So let's say you weighed about 150 pounds and you use one of those little body fat percentage machines and it said that you were 25% body fat. Well, then you would need about 113 grams of protein, but I want you to check with your doctor or with a nutritionist to find out exactly what yours would be. The moral of the story, though, is that most people usually need more protein than they are ingesting. And so what do we do about that? So, how do we stop and prevent muscle loss? Let's talk about what muscle is made of. So, muscle comes from protein. Protein comes from amino acids. They are essentially the building blocks of protein. So, that's what makes up our muscle. Okay. So, you can see how amino acids are pretty dang important. So what are these essential amino acids that I speak of? Well, they, as the name imply, are essential to our health, but essential also means, fun fact, our body can't make them. So you must consume them. So you can find EAAs in a lot of different foods or supplements, but here's the thing. It's really important to get enough in one sitting to create muscle protein synthesis. Okay. So you must consume around 30 grams of protein in a 15-minute window from an EAA rich source to create muscle protein synthesis. And that's basically you building muscle. Okay. So if you're like me, you have learned over the years the importance of 6 small meals a day, or maybe you've heard about it, or you've heard me talk about it, right? And how beneficial it is to eat small amounts of protein with each of those meals, protein carb balancing, right, throughout the day. This is super important to keep your blood sugar stable, to control that insulin pump and control how much weight your body is hanging on to, or metabolizing fat, right? But if you look at the slide here, you can also see there are a lot of wonderful benefits to eating these 6 small meals throughout the day. Less reduced cholesterol, reduce your blood sugar, insulin, all those types of things. These are all really good things, but so is building muscle. And at least once a day, I personally prefer twice a day, we want to create muscle protein synthesis. So that your body is then building muscle. Okay. So to do this, we have to consume 300, I almost said, 30 grams or the equivalent to 30 grams of protein within a 15-minute window from that EAA rich source. So let's kind of take a look at what this would look like. So let's go back to what we know about EAAs. Okay. Here are some examples of how you could get 30 grams of protein. You could sit down for dinner and eat 6 ounces of meat. That's going to be about 200 calories, maybe 500 calories, between 2 and 500 calories, depending on what you choose, which honestly might cost you between $2 and $7 or more, really, depending on the quality of meat that you choose, right? Meat ain't cheap. Or you could eat 5 eggs, which is about 350 calories. That's probably the lowest cost source, but here's the thing. 5 eggs. Who would enjoy eating 5 eggs in 5 eggs a day in one sitting, I should say? I don't know about you, but I'm not Rocky. I'm not drinking those things down. And I don't think I could even sit and eat 5 eggs in a 15-minute window if I tried. I would be gagging. So, okay, let's keep going. You could even eat 3 cups of Greek yogurt. That's another way. That will be between 300 and 600 calories, probably cost you between $4 and $6. Or you could just do yourself a favor and use a supplement. So the Optavia EAA is 60 calories, and you're going to create that same protein synthesis, muscle protein synthesis. That is a really mean word for someone with a lisp, by the way. And when you drink your EAAs, that's the equivalent to eating 30 grams of protein, and it's way less calories than any of those food sources above. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So why use an EAA supplement? Well, obviously, we see it's a lower calorie intake, right? And it's a more affordable method, less than $2, to build that muscle protein synthesis. Okay. Get into building as much muscle as you can in a simpler way. So it's also more easily digestible for your body because it actually goes straight into your blood system versus your body having to break down the 6 ounces of chicken or the 5 eggs. Um, and it's a little bit easier on your digestion system. Does that make sense? So it doesn't contain any of the common allergens that a lot of people have, like milk, soy, nuts, eggs. It's a vegan source, so it's free of all those allergens. Um, so my personal story. Uh, so I have an autoimmune disease called rheumatoid arthritis. I deal with a lot of inflammation and pain, and my body is essentially attacking itself, and causing this inflammation and breakdown. And because I have lost a lot of mobility throughout the years, I have lost a lot of muscle mass. So I started using EAAs after I lost about 55 pounds. And I wanted to build that muscle and build some agility. But what I actually found for myself is not only was I gaining muscle, having more energy, gaining agility and strength, I realized that I was also decreasing the inflammation in my body. I found EAAs were easier for me to implement into my daily routine. And I definitely noticed when I missed a day of utilizing those EAAs because all of a sudden my inflammation was up. Whether it was the following day or the same day, I could tell, oh man, I missed my EAAs yesterday. So as you can see in these pictures, they've been immensely helpful for me in making gains in my health and movement. They've also actually been very beneficial for me in more ways than I knew what I was going to get when I started using them, which I'm super, super grateful for. So, uh, another question that you can ask yourself is, are all EAA supplements the same? Because you can go and do a Google search right now or jump on Amazon right now and type in essential amino acids or EAA supplement, and you're going to have hundreds of choices pop up for you, okay? So it's good to know what you need to look for in a good supplement, So that no matter if you're going to use the Optavia ones, which I think are excellent, obviously, or going to get some from another company, you know what you're getting or what you're looking for in those, okay? So the first question you need to ask yourself are what are you getting, right? Because Optavia lists out the essential amino acids and the amounts of all 8 EAAs that are in there, and it totals to be 10 grams. Okay. In contrast, here's an example of one on Amazon that just says amino blend, and it doesn't say much about what's in there or what ratios are there, just that it's 5 grams. We don't know how much of each specific essential amino acid is in this blend. Okay. Um, then I want you to know the Optavia contains 3.5 grams of leucine, which is a really important part of creating that muscle protein synthesis, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But here's another example over here on the right of one that I pulled from Amazon that they do actually list out all of the EAAs, but look at the leucine. It's 1.5 gram, which is way under formulated. So we know that a good EAA needs a minimum of 2.5 grams of leucine to turn on that switch, so to speak, of that muscle protein synthesis. And Optavia has 3.5 grams or 3,500 milligrams, which is overformulated, really, which is a great thing. They're always awesome to be just what we need them to be or more. So a good EAA needs all 8 essential amino acids. The leucine basically turns on the light switch. Think of it, yeah, like a light switch. And having all 8 of the essential amino acids then powers the light, meaning that that starts the muscle protein synthesis. So that's why Optavia has a full 10 grams. Okay. So there's another nuance here. Your supplement needs at least 5 grams of BCAAs. Um, Here we go. BCAAs, branch chain amino acids. So that's saying that a certain amount of the EAAs need to be BCAAs in the correct ratio of leucine, valine, and isoleucine. So Optavia has 5.3 grams of BCAAs, and they're in the correct ratios. So is our whey protein powder, actually. Those also have the correct ratio and EAA source to create muscle protein synthesis too. And I actually utilize those daily as well. So, um, just to recap, this is why I personally love our Optavia Active EAAs, is that they are backed by science. Okay. So it activates your muscle protein synthesis. They also reduce your soreness after exercise. They reduce your muscle damage and accelerates that recovery process. It also helps support your healthy muscle metabolism during your aging process. So that's so that we aren't so that as we age, we don't let our metabolism go downhill, basically. Okay. So I know that when you pair that with the program that works, like our Optavia lifestyle program, with our community, our habits of health, our coaches, and our clinicians as partners, because I don't know if you know this, but we also offer medically supported weight loss and the support for that. So, what's really important to know about that, a huge thing to know, is that if you yourself or a friend or a family member is looking into medically supported weight loss, it's a great tool and I'm happy that it is there. But it's time for you to be diligent in protecting your muscle mass because evidence suggests that 20 to 50% of that total weight loss during the use of GLP-1s is muscle loss for those who are on the medications. And as you lose that weight, you need to get adequate nutrition and retain your lean muscle. It's really critical. We need to protect that muscle and your metabolism for all the reasons that we've already talked about, right? So hopefully this is giving you some good information about our essential amino acids. Our whey protein is also super excellent for this process. And really why utilizing EAAs and the whey protein like we have it that has the right formulation is really revolutionizing people's health and wellness journeys. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to answer.